Hello, people of the internet. It's your boy, Skinny Penis, with the Oregon, covering the Oregon. Same shit as Vyazma. Copy pasted Georgia on tier 10. Spawning in low HP. Getting funny additional dispersion and reload. Having a improved heal. Fast cooldown heal. Also retains Georgia's speed with brisk and speed boost, 43 knots. Well, yeah. And having the funny ammo, close range, 12.5 kilometer range now. So like bursting at that range. Yeah, once, as I said in the Vyazma video, people probably going to blow up quite a lot with this because they all have citadels, these boats, kind of have sits. They blow up if they're flat. Also, if people don't heal, they may just die to the first volley. Especially if there's carriers or so spotting them or striking them immediately off spawn. And if they heal in the beginning, they're basically just a worse version of their ship. Because you don't get the bonus from the additional AR, like fight or flight, additional reload, additional dispersion, or better dispersion. So therefore, if you heal, you're kind of defeating the purpose of them. Lots of people are going to do that, I would assume. Problem with them is even if they're very, let's say, or weaker until they're low HP, I generally dislike the idea of the bursts in this sense. It's kind of like Annapolis and Conda, where if you trade well against them and if you trade them down well, if you eat the unfortunate last ditch effort type burst right at the end of the trade when he's extremely low, he's probably just gonna trade you even. Like, if he just gets out the burst, there's going to be so much damage. As a cruiser, it's probably quite unplayable within 12.5. It is kind of unplayable. Like, you're not really playing against this thing as long as it has improved ammo, especially. Also here, you will see like not healing in the beginning definitely has benefits. Like, you're going to obviously have better dispersion now than a lot of BBs or Georgia. If you're that low, so these shots early on, you get really good dispersion, and we're going to dumbfuck delete that Conda off the screen. Good play by the Super Cruiser in general. God bless that this thing actually has the penetration to settle that quite easily. Didn't get trolled there. Four shells, 4 sits, amazing. Yeah, and that's kind of like one of the reasons, for example, why you wouldn't want to heal in the beginning. But yeah, the trade potential when you're low to at least trade even is insane. I already dislike it on Conde and Annapolis. You do everything you can as a tier 10, for example, or even as another super cruiser to trade them down favorably. So you lose less HP than him, you're about to kill him. And then the Annapolis just pulls, turns up and bursts 3 shots into you, and you suddenly lose so much additional HP that it was kind of worthless to even work towards a positive trade in the first place. Very funny. But yeah, most people will either choose to heal, I would say. Then there will be a bunch of numbnuts that don't heal and just blow up instant. And then also what I see as an issue with this ship is it's kind of like Deadeye, where with Deadeye you didn't want anything, or you didn't want to have an enemy ship inside of your detection range as a BB. So obviously, naturally, you wanted to play further away, and everyone wanked in base. This one here, kind of similar, because people most likely treat staying low HP on purpose the same way as Deadeye, where they want to stay further away so they can then use the reload and the dispersion from a large distance to get the benefits of it, and they wouldn't go close with it. Even though the design or the idea here is that you are very close and you get the additional burst DPM and the ammo, the special ammo, and then you can just run it down close range and basically murder through people. That's like the idea. Obviously in this game, very favorable situation. We have the Orage towards A. There's like 3 DDs, as you can see, like Shimmer, like there's a DD basically spawning on every cap. So like you have a C and B one. Those I don't care about. I care about the A one. Is it going to the corner or not? And this Orage decides to be inside the cap or in front of the A cap, not in the corner. Which, by the way, is pretty fucking dogshit for his team. Like, it's better for him to just be AFK spawning from the corner and torping me here. It would make my life extremely miserable and hard to play this. But now that I don't have to care about any sort of Orage torps or perma spotting on the rock, I could just always reverse and stay dark. Not that there is anything that can drop me here. They don't have an airstrike ship at the moment. But yeah, I could also just sit here and never have to worry about torps from the corner, which is amazing. But yeah, once again, it's like the old story, like a very old and long-lasting story of destroyers being autistic and running it into caps instead of focusing on the flank and the spotting first. Yeah, well, what can you do? Whatever. Here, the first burst I sent towards that Petro, and also the second one, you can see the dispersion is quite wonky, and that's because I was 55k on the first volley, and now I was still like 47 or so when I shot. So at that health pool, you're not really getting the best dispersion increase. You're kind of having at 55k, you probably even have worse dispersion than Georgia. So you really have to be at like 20k HP, 30 to 20k HP to really get like these correct dispersions that completely open the skull of enemy ships. But yeah, as you can also see, like there's no real reason to feel endangered. You have this improved heal. I'll just pop it here and there to get up to like 2/3. I always feel like comfortable being around 2/3 because like Georgia eats a lot of penetrations into superstructure. A Vermont here could click me for 25k, for example, which would be half of my remaining HP, more than half even. So like being around 2/3 gives me like, it makes me feel comfortable in the fact that even if I get shit on by RNG, like Vermont dealing obscene damage and Petro, for example, not dying, but rather parking and shooting me the entire time, I could still heal again and reverse and get out of the fight and stay alive. And obviously the longer and the more drawn out these fights are, the more demented this thing becomes, because you just have a lot more healing than most other ships. You're gonna be healing up a lot more. Well, yeah, we have a flat broadside parking Petropavlovsk. The dispersion here, pretty good. 48k. I mean, the dispersion still is solid. Obviously, it becomes extremely fancy when you're like super low HP. I think the maxed out is minus 27%, if I'm not mistaken. But don't quote me on that one. They nerfed the skill. They nerfed everything about the ship, as I said with Miasma. The reload was nerfed. The heal was nerfed. The burst range was nerfed, the dispersion and AR buff from the gimmick were nerfed. So like at this point it's hard to keep track of what the actual values are, but I think it's 27 dispersion and something like 15 extra AR, maybe more, maybe 23 extra AR, I don't fucking know, something like that. So yeah, you can imagine like a BB with that improved dispersion, you're really like, you're getting better dispersion than Georgia, and Georgia is already notoriously broken. But yeah, close range. Here, technically I should be bursting, it's better DPM, but I kind of expect him to give me some sort of angle with his back turret, because he wants to use all his guns, and in that scenario I want the shot ready with the improved stuff. But yeah, technically I should have just bursted most likely into superstructure, because it gives you more DPM. You have more AP DPM and we just burst the entire time, therefore I would have killed him faster. This is a weird one, improved penetration angles and improved pen on the ammo, and I still didn't get any sort of citadels here. I guess it's just 2025 BBs. You don't really get to citadel a lot of them. The improved penetration changes the ship a bit. Like you have a pretty easy time citadeling like any exposed sit BB, like Kreml, Yamato, stuff like that. You have a very easy time sitting them. And stuff like Liptard suddenly. Like for example, this Liptard with the burst, you can technically just one-shot magically now because you have the penetration. So Liptard kind of suffers against that. Then again, I kind of figure that Colombo, for example, or Los Andes, for some reason, they don't give a shit about your burst. Like they don't give a fuck that you have more penetration now and improved pen angles. They still don't take sits. It's weird, but whatever. I mean, probably there's a way to you get a death strike on a Colombo here and there. It may be possible because you have 30 overmatch. I think that's what you need for it or some shit. I don't know. But Los Andes, for some reason, is the same in the Viasma video. You can shoot with whatever guns you want into the broadside of that thing. I never get citadels on it. It's just like wild. These designs, they're fucking wild. Battleships just don't have citadels anymore. Which, by the way, is also like a downside of this ship. It does have a citadel. Georgia Hull doesn't generally have a sit. Therefore, yeah, the spreadsheets will probably paint a different picture for wargaming. They will probably come to the conclusion that these boats are a success because they're not busted and shit, and people are spending money on them, and because the idiots are blowing up in it. The idea that humans, players with hands, could get these ships in between their fingers and murder through entire teams and Wing in and ruining the fun of like 3-4 ships at the same time. That one has left Wargaming's mind a while ago. Like, they're not thinking about that anymore. They are not thinking about the fact that Liptard is one of the most obnoxious BBs if it walks at you and it's a player with hands that stays angled and uses the secondaries and shit properly. They don't think about like ledge Colombo after the buffs with the ledge mod like being completely disgusting at mid range, just parking nose in with obscene angles and clicking you for safe damage every single time. They're not thinking about that anymore. They're just looking at the 42%er or the 38%er, and they want to, I don't know, somehow save this guy from not having 20k average on a BB, and I can confidently tell them that no matter how broken they make these ships, these assholes will never get any sort of worthwhile stats or damage or effectiveness in a game. They're just food. They're worse than bots. I could play literal co-op or go to Leicester with the improved bots and have more fun than against a lot of the players on World of Warships at this point, because these people have never been forced since years to actually learn the game a bit more, because everything has been either they could purchase it or they could just use boosters or to like compensate for credit income. Like if you blow up all the time, you obviously lose a lot of credits. But since they whale blue and red boosters, they don't give a fuck most likely, or they just purchase credits outright, for example. So yeah, everything is compensated with a credit card. The core gameplay itself is obviously deteriorating. We have bugs, we have these bullshit ships, everything gets a million gimmicks, everything gets more overmatch, better dispersion, more DPM, more dented gimmick that fists people, like dumb airstrike spam, whatever the fuck it is. Everything is getting better, faster, stronger. And yeah, people have never been, or like players have never been forced to actually learn the game a bit more. I'm not asking for a lot here, but a bit more, or like from the side of wargaming, forcing the player base to actually learn the core game would have been basically the saving grace of this game. I think. I personally don't believe the quality of the randoms games is good at all. You're kind of like chasing that one hidden gem in like 10 to 20 games where you really just have a great game. Also like a game that offers both teams with half a hand, and then like they play against each other and there's some back and forth decision making, rotating, trading, whatever the fuck, like some sort of half human gameplay. Most of the time you just get a bunch of one shots, or your team receives a bunch of one shots and then the game is over, whatever. You can also see like I'm just Wing it into their spawn. Like the thing is obscenely fast, as you can see where I already am in their base. And I'm shooting, like I'm not even getting 10% speed increase from Brisk. Obviously here it's pretty bad that I'm 48k HP. If I was lower HP, I would obviously reload even faster with way better dispersion. And now I also proc Halsey, so like the reload would have become really demented. And I mean, it is already really fucking stupid, but yeah, like here I don't have the buff from the, like this is a perfect situation where staying low would be totally worth it. They can't really do much against you. Or like even if they're still far enough away that I could just heal. So like 20k would be perfect here. I would never die and I would get all the benefits. That would be nice. As you can see, like 13 citadels, didn't even get sits on the Vermont. 2 death strikes technically. I mean, I didn't kill the Conda, right? Gotta be serious here. Like the Conda stayed alive on 400 HP. Oh, by the way, the replays are still bugged. So like, yeah, we got a new bunch of copy-paste chips, but the replay files are still bugged. The enemy team is clearly on 990 points and ticking while we have all the caps, right? That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, the red team ticked out on 1,000 and we have the victory. What a surprise. Good thing they focus so much on fixing stuff, right? We actually didn't break 300 here, but I thought it was a pretty interesting game to showcase. Like, not a lot of shell hits, a lot of citadels though, close range parking against enemy ships. Obviously, you have to admit that the Petro was a specimen and just turned flat. So, yeah, that one was a gift. The Edgar or the Condor is a nice snipe in the beginning, but like the Edgar or the Vermont, they can't really do much against this ship close range unless the Edgar torps me or the Vermont. I mean, the thing with the Vermont is, and this improved ammo that you, or the improved ammo that you get on this car, the Oregon, the battleships like Ohio, Monty, Oregon, Yamato, even other BBs, BBs probably in general, or cruisers, they can't really turn up to use their back turrets as long as you have the improved ammo. Because of the improved penetration angles and the improved pen, you will be able to citadel them, most of them. I mean, a Yamato is never going to be able to turn up because it already gets cheeked by a normal Georgia. You're definitely fisting through that thing close range with your burst. But also like I had situations like that, Ohio or Monty or another Oregon. If they angle up for back turret, you get sits under the front turrets and you get pens 100%, most likely sits on top of that. So like your burst damage under his turrets is obscene. You're just going to be fisting people out of the game. But yeah, 294k, pretty simple. I mean, the battleship design itself, it's a Georgia, so it's a simple-ish design. You have guns, you're fast, and you click people with overmatch and good dispersion. I personally like secondary Georgia here and there. Like, it's kind of fun, but it's definitely not the best spec, not at all. Like, you just want to spec that thing for tank, survivability, and guns only. The same goes for Oregon. That's what it accelerates at, the guns, like fuck the secondaries. But yeah, they somehow managed to create 3 ships that have very simple design and just make them extremely gimmick heavy and also hard to understand, obviously. I don't believe that most of the player base really understands what these ships do and how they work and how to min-max them. It's just a handful of people, lots of people probably watching this vid because I don't have a lot of viewers, and lots of people that watch the streams or watch Twitch and YouTube in general, like the actual content creators. Those people have have hands. And have a decent understanding of the game. So those may be thinking about min-maxing, but that's like a very small portion of the player base. Like we're talking maybe a 10th of the player base, not even, I mean, at this point, probably a 10th because there's not that many casual players left. But yeah, that's it for Oregon. By the way, I think the credit income and everything is normal tier 10 and 9 like them. And maybe they even have a premium ship bonus. I don't really know. I haven't looked at it. I mean, I don't care about the credits. That's why. So you gotta ask someone else. But yeah, that's it for Oregon. I'll probably see you for the Utrecht line next. And then maybe some Leicester content. But yeah, hope you liked it. See you soon. Adios.